So, there's been some debates about who the best Marvel character is, and I'm here to rate them from an S tier to a terrible tier. So, without further ado, let's get started with Captain America. After being given the Super Soldier Serum, he was given powers such as super strength, super agility, and he has a amazing shield that can pretty much block anything other than, I guess, Thanos' sword, but we don't talk about that. Now, personally, I don't think Captain America is the best hero. I know he's like the leader of the Avengers, but you know, I feel like a good one to put him at is at a B tier because I feel like there's still some better ones and some really good ones. So he's pretty average, so I'm gonna just put him at a B tier for now. Now, next up, we have Deadpool. Now, Deadpool is an extremely good character in the Marvel Universe. And even though he has some hilarious parts, he is pretty underrated because of his power. He is an extremely powerful character in the Marvel Universe. Now, to rank Deadpool, he is an extremely powerful character, so I'm gonna have to put him at S tier. Next up, Gambit. Now, Gambit is a pretty interesting hero because he doesn't have the power himself, he just makes things powered up. And that's pretty interesting because he's not the best of making those things powered up. But the things he powers up are pretty powerful, but honestly, he's just not the best in my opinion. Gambit isn't the worst hero, but he's also not the best, and I honestly think I should put him at a C tier. Next up, we have Cyclone. Now, Cyclone, in my opinion, is not the best because he has a really powerful laser, but if you really look at it, his laser isn't that powerful. I mean, it did not even destroy a bathroom door, and it's just, in my opinion, it can't really destroy an actual superhero, so or supervillain. Cyclone also isn't really the best because, I mean, he just shoots like a giant laser. I mean, it is powerful, but it's just, he's not the best character. I mean, there are some better ones, so I'm gonna have to put him with Gambit on this one at a C tier. And next up we have Professor X. Now, Professor X is a pretty powerful character, even though he doesn't use his powers to the full potential, but he is still a really good character because of his mind controlling and minding reading powers. Professor X has his moments, but he also doesn't. So, he is a really powerful character, but I will have to put him at a B tier just because, he doesn't have his moments. Okay, now we have Colossus. Colossus, in my opinion, not the best because he just makes his skin into a chrome like thing, and he can turn other people into chrome, like you saw, but honestly, in my opinion, he's just not the best. Now, personally, I don't think Colossus is a good character at all. I mean, from what I've read up on, he literally just turns his body into metallic, and that's kind of terrible for me. So I'm gonna put him at a D tier just because there are some worse ones. Next up, Bucky Barnes. Bucky Barnes is a good character, but he's kind of overrated in my opinion. His arm, not the best. He's a good fighter, but I don't know. I don't think he deserves the best tier. Now, Bucky Barnes is a really good fighter, but his power, it's pretty much not like a power. I mean, it's just tech, and while Iron Man is kind of like that, I feel like Bucky will deserve a D tier. Next up, Black Bolt. Now, he's a pretty good character, even though we've only seen his voice like once or twice, but I feel like it could be kind of effective against supervillains, so I'm gonna give him a decent rating. Black Bolt is a really good character, and I honestly think he's good enough to put it at a B tier, the same with Captain America and Professor X. Now it's Invisible Woman. Now, Invisible Woman is pretty good, honestly. She could turn invisible, it's pretty useful, but her most powerful thing, as I'm about to say, is her force fields. She can create force fields for the team, and I think that's extremely powerful. Now, Invisible Woman, she can literally turn invisible, which could be really useful, but her most powerful thing, in my opinion, is getting those force fields because, I mean, protection for the whole team is, I mean, that's just the best. So, honestly, I'm going to rank her at a B tier. Now, Sentry. Sentry is an amazing character. He's an all around just perfect character, almost the Superman of Marvel. but he is not the most powerful in my opinion, but he is an extremely powerful character overall. Now, Sentry is an all around powerful hero, and he's just. He's too good to put at A, so I'm gonna have to put him at an S tier. Hawkeye. Hawkeye can basically not miss a shot. He's pretty good at combat. He's not the strongest, but he's still a pretty good character in my opinion. Hawkeye is a good character. He has drawbacks, like a lot of them, and he is a really good skilled fighter. But I'm gonna have to put him at a C tier. Next up, Ant-Man. Ant-Man's a pretty powerful character, and basically he could shrink or grow, but he keeps his same power level, so if he shrinks, he'll have the same power level as if he was normal, and so on with the growth. Ant-Man is an underrated Marvel character. He has some good potential, but there is a better character that I will put a higher rank in, so I'm gonna have to put Ant-Man at a B tier. Next up, Angel. In my opinion, Angel is probably the worst Marvel character, only because he can fly and he does have pretty good speed, but honestly, that's pretty much every single Marvel character, so he's nothing special, and he basically has two things that almost every single Marvel character has. Okay, Angel is probably the worst Marvel character in my opinion, so I will have to put him in a terrible tier. Next up, Warpath. Warpath is a pretty good hero. He has extra durability, extra agility, and he has really good combat skills. Warpath is a pretty good hero. He's basically superhuman, and it's kind of like he took the super soldier serum, so I'm gonna actually put him at a B tier. Next up, Madrix, or Multiple Man. He's basically just a hero that multiplies himself, and it could be proven to be useful, but it's honestly just not the best in my opinion. Madrix isn't the best character, and I will have to put him at an F tier because, I mean, cloning yourself, it could be good for distractions and whatnot, but I feel like he's not the best, so an F tier is what he deserves. Next up, Quicksilver. Quicksilver is just an extremely fast character, and he's really good, honestly, because, I mean, super speed can be proven to be useful at pretty much any scenario. Quicksilver is basically the Flash of Marvel, and so I'm gonna have to put him at. Actually, I'm gonna put him at an A tier. Next up, Morph. Morph is honestly not the best character, only because, I mean, morphing into other characters can't really help defeat anybody, and as you could see, he does morph into people like that. In my opinion, Morph is not that good, so I will have to put him at a D tier and drop. So next up we have Wonder Man. Wonder Man is an extremely powerful character only because it's basically like the Superman of Marvel. He's basically like Sentry pretty much. Basically has like all the powers mixed, super strength, super speed, flight, whatnot. And he basically got his powers from a radioactivity. Wonder Man is basically like Sentry, but he has some drawbacks and weaknesses, so I'm gonna have to put him at an A tier for this one. Next up, the Punisher. The Punisher, not the best character in my opinion. He's basically just an all-around killer. He knows how to fight and whatnot. So not the best character, but he is still decent one. Now, honestly, the Punisher is kind of overrated for me, so I don't know. I might have to put him at like, I might have to put him at a C tier. He is still pretty good, so I think a C tier is what he deserves. Next up, Thor. Thor is an amazing character in my opinion. He basically has super strength, lightning that comes out of Mjolnir or his hands, whether he's more focused on his energy or whatnot. Um, but yeah, he has super strength, which is like extremely powerful. Mjolnir, his helping tool, I guess you could say, extremely powerful, but he can go without it, and now he is using Stormbreaker, so that's nice. Okay, in my opinion, Thor is the most powerful Marvel character there is. I mean, I honestly feel like he could defeat Sentry and Deadpool. Not in this, not working together, but individually. I think he really could. So I'm gonna have to put him at an S tier. Next up, Hulk. Hulk is an extremely powerful character. Basically, the strongest Avenger, not the most powerful Avenger, but he is the strongest Avenger. He has super jump as well, which is basically a flight for him. Now Hulk is a extremely powerful character, but I do think the S tier Marvel characters are more powerful than Hulk, so I'm gonna have to put Hulk at an A tier. Vision. Vision is a pretty good hero. The only drawback I think he has is his durability, and while it's still good, I just think it's not one of the best, only because he's a robot, which, I mean, that doesn't really matter, but I feel like an Asgardian like Thor or like Hulk, I feel like they're more durable than Vision. Now, Vision is a pretty good character, but the only drawbacks I think he has is that if you get a powerful weapon, like if a supervillain has a really powerful weapon, Vision can be destroyed pretty easily with a powerful weapon. Like Thanos, I mean, he just grabbed the stone right out of Vision's head. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to put Vision at a C tier. Now, Black Panther. Black Panther, he's actually a really good hero. He basically did Captain America one better because his suit, basically Captain America's shield, and then his fighting abilities, basically way better than Captain America, in my opinion. So I think he should go a rank higher than Captain America. Black Panther is an amazing hero. I think he could beat Captain America in a fight, and I think he deserves an A tier. Now, Wasp. Now, honestly, I think Wasp did Ant-Man one up better because she can fly, and I think her fighting abilities and her ability to use the suit is way better than Ant-Man. So I think she should go rank higher than Ant-Man. Now, like I was saying before, Ant-Man has some potential, and I thought a character was better than him, and so I'm gonna have to put Wasp at an A tier. Now, Black Widow. Honestly, I don't even think I should have put Black Widow on this list only because all she does is fight, and that's it. And I think she does a pretty bad job with that fighting. So, honestly, I don't think she's the best. Now, in my opinion, Black Widow is the most overrated Marvel character ever. So, she's gonna have to go in an F tier. She is probably the worst one. I mean, all she does is fight, and she's really not that powerful. But she is a good fighter. Next up, War Machine. Now, honestly, War Machine not the best. Basically, Iron Man, but way less skilled, and I don't know, just not the best. Durability is pretty good though. And I think the same goes with War Machine as I said with Black Widow, but he is a little bit better than Black Widow, so I will have to put War Machine at a D tier. Next up, Moon Knight. Moon Knight is a pretty good character. He is a really skilled fighter, and I think he's pretty matched up with Captain America on the power level. So I think I might have to rank him about the same. Now, Moon Knight is a really skilled fighter, and I might actually have to put him at a B tier. Next up, Iron Fist. Basically, Iron Fist just has an extremely strong punch. Basically, One Punch Man, pretty much. So yeah, he is a pretty powerful character. Iron Fist is gonna have to go in a C tier only because I think the B tier Marvel characters could defeat him in a fight. So I think he's going in C tier. Now we have Luke Cage. Luke Cage is a pretty good Marvel character because he has really good fighting skills and basically has impenetrable skin, which is amazing. Now, I do think Luke Cage could beat Iron Fist in a fight, so I will have to put Luke Cage at a B tier. Next up, Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch is an extremely powerful Marvel character. She can basically interpret the world around her, as you can see in the video, and she can basically control minds, which is amazing. Scarlet Witch is one of the most powerful Marvel characters, and for that, I will have to put her at an S tier. Kitty Pryde. She's terrible. I'm putting her in an F tier. Next up, the Thing. So the Thing is basically the Hulk. If I had to guess, he might be a little bit more durable. I'm not sure on that, but yeah, he's pretty much equivalent to the Hulk. The Thing is pretty matched up with the Hulk, even though it's not as strong, and I mean it's just weaker. So for that, I'm gonna have to put him at a B tier. Now Storm. Storm, not the best character at all. Basically all she could do is manipulate the weather, and that is honestly not the best power to defeat supervillains. Now, honestly, Storm not the best. I think she deserves a D tier. Next up, Falcon. Falcon basically gathers intel for the entire team because of his flight and his X-ray goggles, and I'm pretty sure the goggles can pick up like enemy devices and whatnot. So yeah, he's a pretty good character. Also, he's really good at fighting as well. Now, I think Falcon is a pretty good hero. He has the intel he could share with his team. He's basically a support character, but he also has really good skills. And for that, I will have to put him at a C tier only because he is not the most powerful and he's mostly a support character. So I think he deserves a C tier. Next up, Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is an extremely powerful character. He basically has magic. He can open portals and go anywhere he wants, basically. He does have to master it, though, so that is kind of difficult for him to do, but he is a really powerful character overall. Doctor Strange, he is pretty underrated, but I think he is an amazing character. But I mean, I feel like he hasn't really mastered his magic yet. So for that, I will put him at an A tier, but hopefully he could go up to an S tier later with any new movies or whatnot. Now the Human Torch. The Human Torch basically just catches himself on fire. He could fly and then catch other things on fire. So it's not really the best, but I mean, it'll work. Now, the Human Torch is good. I mean, he just catches stuff on fire. I mean, he's really not the best. So, for that, I might have to actually put him at a D tier. Next up, Nick Fury. Nick Fury, he's not the best fighter. He basically just gives the Avengers and Marvel characters missions to go on and gives them intel and whatnot. But he's really not the best. So, I'm gonna have to give him a low rating. Now, in my opinion, Nick Fury he's not really a hero. He's just like, I don't know really what he is. So for that, I'm gonna actually have to put him at a terrible tier. Now, Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer is he's a pretty good character. He has flight, super speed. He could basically travel through walls, which Kitty Pryde did. But she's just a terrible character, so that doesn't really matter. But overall, he's a really good character. Silver Surfer is a pretty good hero. He can fight, and for that, I will put him at a B tier. And I feel like he's kind of like Quicksilver, but he is kind of weaker, so I'm gonna have to put him at a B tier for now. Next up, Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi is a really powerful hero, extremely skilled fighter, and overall just an amazing character. Now, I don't want to say this wrong, but Shang-Chi is a pretty good hero. He has a lot of fighting potential. He is probably one of the most skilled fighters in Marvel, only because of his training and whatnot. So I'm gonna actually have to put him at. He's in between an A or a B, but I think I'm gonna actually have to put him at an A tier for this one. Daredevil. Now, Daredevil once again is a really skilled fighter, pretty much, but he is blind and all of his other senses are very heightened, which gives him different abilities that other Marvel characters don't. For me, Daredevil, he's a pretty good fighter. He's really skilled, but he is kind of worse than some of the A tier fighters, so I think he really does deserve a B tier. Wolverine. Wolverine is he's a pretty good character. He's basically like Deadpool. So he has regenerative powers with adamantium claws, and so yeah, he's a really powerful character. Now, Wolverine, pretty much Deadpool, but I mean obviously not the same, and they have major differences, but I will have to put Wolverine at an S tier just because of his strength and his fighting abilities. Spider Man. Now, Spider Man has web shooters that he basically just flies and he could trap enemies in the webs. He has super strength and super agility. He also has his spider sense, which he could basically sense whenever an enemy is about to attack him or if something bad is about to happen. Now, Spider Man, I feel like he's not underrated or overrated, but I will have to put him at an A tier only because he is an amazing fighter. He pretty much knows all of his enemies' attacks because of his spider sense and whatnot. So I think an A tier is what he deserves. Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider has super strength and he has super agility as well, and he's overall just a really powerful Marvel character. I said that wrong, don't judge me. But overall, yes, he is a really powerful Marvel character. Ghost Rider. He is he's a really good character. I'm not even gonna lie. And I know I have a lot at the S tier, but he will have to join them. So S tier. Hercules. Hercules basically Hulk, but super agile, and he's about the same strength level. So basically Hulk, just more agile, which is a little bit better. Hercules, basically Hulk. I'm not even gonna lie, but he is a little weaker, and for that, he's going in a B tier. Blade. Blade, honestly, not the best character. Just really good with the sword, pretty much, and he can't go out in the sunlight. So yeah. Now, I feel like Blade is a pretty overrated character, and for that, I'm gonna have to put him at an F tier actually because he can't even be out in the sunlight, which I mean, that's terrible. Iron Man. Iron Man, I have some pretty mixed feelings about because of his armor, pretty much. So he could do some different things with his armor, and I'm about to say why and how. Now, for Iron Man, I have some pretty mixed opinions. I feel like he should go into C tier because of his armor, because he has to keep fixing it and redoing it and stuff. And, I feel like he should go to C tier for that, but also his power, his suits give him like extremely good power. So for that, I want to put him at an A tier. So I think we should meet in the middle, and I'm gonna put him at a B tier. So this is me editing the video after I made it, and I just realized I'm wearing Marvel pants. So cool. Anyways, thanks for watching.